Welcome to our series of webinars on how Expert.ai's hybrid AI solves complex business challenges. This is the first of a series of webinars where we will discuss the importance of NLP and NLU to your organization's AI journey. To introduce our presenters, my name is Andrew Smales. I'm a director of Raedan AI that represents Expert.ai in Australia. I have over 30 years experience in data management, developing data strategies, frameworks, architected solutions for a range of public and private organizations. My interest in Expert.ai is the result of research to find the most efficient and effective way to extract information from unstructured data. Andrea Riccotti is a seasoned expert in the AI industry, particularly in applying natural language understanding, NLU, and automation technologies. In his business development role as Expert.ai, Andrea leverages over 20 years' experience in sales management in the financial services, IT, data, and marketing sectors. His technical expertise includes developing and implementing AI-driven strategies that help organizations extract valuable insights from unstructured data, therefore improving decision-making and processes and operational efficiency. Liz Fleury is a solutions consultant focused on revolutionizing the insurance industry's landscape. She guides Expert.ai's customers, helping them unlock efficiencies, enhance customer experiences, and mitigate risks through the strategic integration of AI technologies. In a world where data is the currency and innovation is the key to staying ahead, her mission is to power organizations with cutting-edge AI solutions tailored to their unique challenges of the insurance sector. Andrea, please start the conversation by introducing how hybrid AI works for enterprises.
Thanks to Raedan AI and the InsurTech of Australia for having us as a guest this afternoon for today's webinar. And thanks to Andrew for the introduction. I will start sharing my slide first things, and then I will speak over this deck and this presentation. So in the next 20 minutes, what we are going to see is what we define the importance of hybrid AI for enterprises, meaning that all of you know what we are experiencing since the last for the last 2 years, 2 years, sorry. So generative AI has become now the main technology that is driving digital transformation and AI adoption in the world. And this technology is absolutely fantastic. It's absolutely breakthrough, and it's here to remain and to change dramatically the way in which companies work. But at the same time, the use of Gen AI presents some risks, presents some problems that have to be mitigated. And we consider hybrid AI as the right tool to approach these risks, to mitigate those risks. And at the end of the day, the hybrid scenario is what is driving a successfully adoption of AI across the enterprises, both banking and insurances and healthcare and life science. So it's not just a matter of the verticals or the sector we are talking of, but again, the strategy and idea to use AI in a composite way, using again different techniques and different ways to make the whole use case work properly. And at the end of this presentation, you will see also some impacts on operational efficiency. So numbers, figures that can really drive an adoption of hybrid that we saw during a use cases we implemented for insurance. So again, in the next few slides, you will see the overall path, the overall hybrid scenario, and at the end of the presentation, a concrete use cases with some numbers coming from this adoption. So let's start with some considerations about the scenario we are living in. In this moment, after the last, again, 2 years of AI hype and boom, companies are starting to ask for enterprise solutions. So every one of us has played with ChatGPT, with LLM, with generative AI. But now, as a professionals of our company, what we are looking for is really enterprise solution, something concrete that can bring results and bring companies to grow and to extend their business models. In this adoption scenario, what companies are looking at are open source solutions. So in a way, they look for models that can integrate by themselves. Open source is the first choice, but at the end of the day, what is really important is the integration and the combination of different softwares and different applications. And last but not least, the use of explainable AI or controllable AI is what company wants, considering again that Gartner estimate 30% of Gen AI projects will be abandoned by the end of next year, again due to the problems, due to the risk that this technology brings in. If this is the scenario, let's have a look at the feedback coming from concrete customers. So we spent the last 6 months in interviewing our customers in Europe, in Asia Pacific, in North America, and the feedback we are receiving is that there is, yes, this common priority to understand how and where to integrate Gen AI into processes. And in all the companies, there is this looking for dozens of potential use cases that can be managed with this stack. A lot of multiple POC and experiments, and the most promising of them arrive to the stage where, before the scaling, some feedback from compliance, from internal security are needed. And this is where company recognize the risk of managing properly this technology. So hallucinations, cost not yet clear. So many customers, many company we work with raise this doubt in adopting this technology on a large scale. So if this is the scenario, these are the feedbacks coming from the customers. Let's move to present ourselves. So we have been working in NLP and NLU for more than 35 years. So Expert.ai was established in Italy, Modena, in 1989. And since that, we have constantly worked on making AI a success. So we help customers, partners in implementing AI technology and scale this technology to the enterprise level we discussed a couple of slides ago. In the last few months, our mission has become not only present our stack. You will read in the next few slides that we as a company have patents of technology, so we have a technology developed by ourselves. And this technology, as you will see, is one of the key drivers that can be integrated with generative AI in order to favor the scalability and the long-term adoption of AI. We have an international presence, direct in Europe and United States, and with partners like Raedan in the rest of the world. In this moment, our revenue are roughly 32 million with 260 employees globally. We are a listed company on the Euronext Milan Stock Exchange in Italy, and 80% of our market is floating, with a bunch of historical shareholders that are both the founders and the different vehicles that invested in our company for favoring the growth and the international presence. As I said, in this last 35 years, we have worked in I would say all the verticals, all the sectors you can imagine. In this moment, we have decided to focus on 6 specific verticals that are the verticals where we consider that the opportunity right now is again to combine the potential of Gen AI with other techniques in order to scale enterprise solutions. And you will see here some interesting logos, some interesting companies we work with, and with the help of Raedan, any deep dive, any questions you may have on these success cases, we are more than happy to use them as a clear success cases and case study to again show you how we implemented the AI technology into this company. Very important, all the logos you see here are not POC, are not experiments, We are talking of real enterprise solutions being implemented that are driving concrete results to those companies. And as I said, we will see an example of one of these customers at the closure of this presentation. Not less important are the partnerships. So we consider that one of the ingredients, one of the way to make an AI project working properly is the combination of techniques and capabilities. And Raedan AI, for example, is helping us in Asia Pacific and Australia, but the rest of the partners is helping us again to build the right solution for scaling, for arriving to the concrete implementation of the end-to-end projects. We have both solution partners that integrate our technology with other piece of technology and make the overall picture work properly, or technology partners that, on the other side, use our technology into their own solution. And you will see here again some of the references we are working with on the market. Let's come back to the solutions and to the verticals. So we say that we work on 6 industries. There is a need now in the market to scale and to implement the vertical solutions. In this slide that it will be part of the follow-up materials, you see the concrete use cases that we are now bringing on the market. In insurance, for example, we can automate the full claim processes, the full underwriting processes. So these are end-to-end solutions that have been built by our own, again with the help of partners that helped us to integrate our technology, or in general AI technologies, into specific processes. For example, for claim automation, we are active partner of Guidewire, which is one of the most important platforms for claims management and insurance in the world. And with Guidewire, we have a strong integration and a very nice possibility to work together and to integrate our capabilities into Guidewire platform. Another key message is that in the 260 people that work today in Expert.ai, we consider to have on board a good mix of expertise coming from what can be identified as the main domains in the general AI and data vertical. So to favor the scalability, to favor the building of a concrete enterprise solutions, you cannot only rely on data scientists. Data scientists are just a part of your process, because you will need the domain expertise, like Denise. You will need the knowledge and data management. You will need some concrete experience in data science and coding. So the real success of an AI project come from the expertise and the capabilities coming from different people. And this is pretty important because, again, it's not just Gen AI by themselves that it will make use cases work properly. We consider that human touch, human in the loop still remain a mantra, still remain a concrete way to have a full working end-to-end solutions. And again, the experience coming from people working on the business, it's fundamental, is critical in making the technology work properly. This hybrid AI, at the end of the day, hybrid AI strategy has been considered by Forrester something that clearly stands out from the crowd. So the possibility to combine different techniques and different stack is what has been recognized again by Forrester or by Gartner in other 2 separate reports, what is making really the difference when you look at Expert.ai capabilities. And this hybrid stack ideally combine 2 different ways to look at training an algorithm or training a machine. So you can train a machine starting from data, and all the story of machine learning that has become deep learning, has become transformers, Gen AI. So all the history of AI is ideally a history of learning from data. The more and the best data you have, the more and the best your algorithm will work properly. And from this point of view, our experiences are in using all the kind of machine learning algorithms. We have implemented transformers in some of our use cases. We work with a patents and proprietary IDP solution, intelligent document processing solution, that help us to understand and to work with complex documents. And at the end of the day, we work with Gen AI. We have built our own enterprise language model verticalized for insurance, but we have a team of people that is now working with the commercial LLMs, or can integrate general LLMs into the full end-to-end stack. What is making really the difference is the part on the right, which is learning from human. Until 2 years ago, Gen AI did not exist. If we turn back of 10 years, the only way you would have to implement an AI project would have to use specific rules and specific assets like knowledge graph, knowledge models, experiences coming from the human in the loop way to approach AI. And this is what we bring on the market, we bring on the table again as one of the way in which control and integrate with Gen AI. In fact, arriving to the end of my presentation, why we consider hybrid the right way? Because in this moment, every AI journey of the company start ideally with data. So now company look at AI as a way to identify the right data, use them with the right privacy permissions, trying to use the data in the most proper way. They pass data to the Gen AI model they choose. It can be Anthropic, can be Llama, can be GPT, it doesn't matter. So company choose a Gen AI model to which pass the data. And at the end, the architecture remains the last piece of the journey. So on-prem, dedicated instance, cloud. So the traditional journey ends up with the idea to install and to monitor then the overall stack. In our opinion, before passing data to Gen AI and after generative AI has generated a text, you can add 2 additional components that can help you implement and increase the numbers of the success. And these components are the knowledge, which means that before passing data to the Gen AI model, you could use intelligent document processing, knowledge models, specific way to have been implemented based on rules that can help you to understand better the data that are coming in, that can help generative AI work better and generate text with less hallucinations and more stable, more related to the context. And after the Gen AI, there are the guardrailings approach, which means that you can use symbolic-based AI to control hallucinations, to validate your data, and at the end of the day, receive an information that is absolutely useful and could scale on the larger numbers. If we think a different way to imagine this world, we can say that with the different techniques we have now available, we have knowledge models or rule-based models that are absolutely explainable, accurate, and very human in the loop built. But at the end of the day, as you have to code a rule, the readiness to use it's, let's say, not so big. It's not so simple to use knowledge models or these techniques compared to LLM or the generative AI. On the other side, LLM or enterprise language model offer a fantastic ready-to-use approach because, again, every one of us has worked with ChatGPT, has tried to prompt something that works properly. But the problems are more related to the explainability, which means hallucinations, or the human knowledge, let's say, that you can add in the overall process. So if we could imagine a good approach, we could think to combine all the better things of the world of these different techniques and arrive to the maximum coverage, let's say, of the features in using AI. And this is an example of a concrete hybrid approach. So one of our customers is one of the most important insurance carrier in the United States, and they came to us proposing a very challenging task. So they have claims. They have what they find a medical claim package made of different forms: the demand letter, the diagnostic study, claims form, so different documents. Some are semi-structured documents, some are more unstructured documents. So different mix again of documents we would have to analyze and to check. The idea is to work on 23 different families of templates and to extract the 58 fields from this package in order to fully automate the overall process. We started to work on these use cases, and we started in an old-style way. The old-style means documents converted by a standard OCR processor and passed as they are straightforward to knowledge models or LLM. And you see the results are quite interesting. Actually, today, large language model can give you a very high level of precision and accuracy on working on documents, even higher in some specific areas or business rules. But we tried a different approach because in our history, 77% or 79% are good, but not enough to scale and to build an enterprise solution asset. And we started to use, as I said, one of the first mitigants of our technology, which are data processor and knowledge models. With these piece of assets that pre-massage, let's say, the documents before passing the text to rules or LLM, we arrive to an interesting result. You see the numbers increasing, arriving to that 90% threshold we look for. And at the end of the day, this part is absolutely fundamental in incrementing precision and numbers of the AI. But the final stage is what we are looking at. So the hybrid, the combination of the two techniques is what will give you the best result and a less number of tokens being sent to the LLM. Because for all those pieces of information where you need explainability, you need full control, or there are specific checks you will have to do, business rules remain absolutely a mantra. But for other extractions, quite simple, quite straightforward, you can rely on LLM. At the end of the day, it's a combination of the both techniques that can get you to arrive to the right results and to the right scalability. So to close my presentation, this is what we are sharing with you. The company is The Hartford, is a North American insurance carriers, and the idea was to show those numbers because CIO, Chief Operating Officer, like some of you connected here, are at the end of the day looking for numbers. They want to maximize the combined operation rate, which means working on revenue or operational cost saving. These people don't care how. They are interested in numbers. They want to see the final number before saying that AI adoption was successful or not. And when they want to achieve those results, what they do is talk with the directors, with the people that are responsible for their operations, that have to cope with the FTA reduction, efficiency, total cost of ownership. So these are the people that, starting from the number the board want to see, start to look at the way in which to improve that number and how to make things work properly again. Then we have the project manager that are interested in the success delivery time or the accuracy of the models and the algorithms being implemented. And at the bottom, but not less important, I would say that these are the people really critical to make the AI solution work properly. There are the data scientists, the prompt engineers, all the people that you saw in my previous slide. If we try to scale the business value chain, we will see that those people working with our technology have been able to combine different type of AI models, grant a 100% explainability, and arrive to process 5 million of medical report every year. The project manager have been able to bring to the directors and to their bosses an accuracy of 95%, we saw in the previous slide, and a delivery time of 5 months to build this overall use case. Scaling the use case and arrive to the right business value, these are the concrete results. So 40% processing time saving per claim, and more than 1,200 active system users that use our technology in their day-by-day activities. And the CIO of this company was rewarded as the CIO of the year for this specific project, as brought on the board saving on $1 million per month, thanks again to the right implementation and the right scalability of an AI project. I'm closing here. Again, these are not just slides, but if you are interested in getting more, receiving more information, more than available with our Raedan AI friends. And with that, sorry if I took some minutes more, I pass the stage to Denise. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. Try to present. Okay. More Teams challenges this morning. Let me just share in the traditional way. Okay, you should be able to see my screen. If not, let me know. Okay, so Andrea just showed some tangible business benefits, and in fact, our team, solution consulting team, also helps build the business case along with the customer to get the most. So we help get the most out of the investments, and some of the tangible benefits can also be seen here. He mentioned the Hartford down here, which is the case we saw, and we also have other ones such as AXA XL. Increasing the risk reports that they're able to read by 400%. If they were reading 1 report before, they're now reading 4 at a time. Zurich, in claims, we're able to bring the claims, let's say, entire claims processing time from 58 minutes to 5 minutes. And there are many other cases here, RSA and pet claims, for example, also here a reduction of 75% in the overall claims review times. So the the outcomes and the KPIs become evident.
You've got on mute, Denise.
I don't know what's going on this morning. Apologies. Okay, so in the insurance, there's a lot of manual work still today. Okay, it's time consuming, and sometimes it can be difficult to automate. There are a lot of challenges. For example, Andrea touched upon the different templates of incoming documents that claims or submissions could also have. There's great domain expertise required in finding the appropriate solutions for, let's say, for automation. We've got also a graying workforce in some cases, especially on the risk engineering side. There's not so many young risk engineers coming into the workforce. So a tool like an AI tool could be very helpful for that. And sometimes it's just the C-level that really wants to introduce AI into the workplace for whatever reason that may be. So that has to, let's say, work together with the business units of that company in order to make that a reality. So Expert AI has been working in insurance for close to 10 years now. And we have now built a insurance-specific LLM called ELMI, which I will show later. And we believe, again, in the flexible hybrid AI approach for these insurance use cases. They are complex, they require different techniques. And that's why, in order to get the best outcomes, the hybrid AI is definitely the best approach. So let's just go ahead and look at some of these use cases. Okay, I have to do this manually, apparently. Okay. There are many use cases for insurance. These are just some of them that Expert AI has touched upon. You can see, email triage, submissions intake, medical underwriting, medical treatment compliance, the summaries. We've got risk engineering, which isn't even on here, policy wording. There are many use cases, and let's deep dive into 3 of these. But before we do, as I mentioned, ELMI, our large language model for insurance, we've got the ability, let's say we can leverage this large language model for many different reasons. One, it's trained on insurance documents, okay? We've got using, let's say, a RAG approach, we have more precise inputs. We're reducing the hallucinations because, again, it's trained on insurance documents, so it's less likely to produce answers that have nothing to do with what we need to accomplish. We've got a built-in human-in-the-loop approach so that we can train the model. We have it's able to be tuned for each use case, but for also each insurer. For example, in risk engineering, each carrier has their own way of viewing risk, and this is also in underwriting. What is their risk appetite? So over time, we're able to align this with the business requirements. Of course, it's cost optimized. It's a much smaller language model. So, if you really love your cloud bill, you don't really have to worry about your large language model bill as much, let's say. And it's also cloud agnostic, so we're able to deploy it on cloud or on-prem. Okay, let's get into that deep dive. This is the claims workflow that Andrea used as an example earlier. So I'd like to pick it up from the actual, let's say, behind the back end and talk about what we've done here. We are receiving the documents. If you walk with me from left to right, the first thing we do is to categorize the incoming documents. He mentioned demand letters, attorney's letters, medical reports, and even just in the medical reports themselves, there could be 50 different types between, a surgical note and a physical therapy, or workers' compensation notes. So these are all categorized and they're split so that they can be sent to the correct model to then be further processed. We also have the ability to exclude from review the documents, which is where the Hartford got a 30% savings because they no longer had to read documents that they'd already received or documents that were irrelevant to the actual claim itself. Next, what happens is that some of these documents require some kind of a summarization. So the generative summary comes, before or after an extraction process. The invoice is summarized. The medical reports, we have extraction and enrichment going on because we need to, for example, read the report and apply codes to the treatments or the injuries that have occurred. In Europe, we use ICD coding. In the US, for medical compensation, they have to apply something called a CPT code. So all of these codings are then used to come up with a pricing also to know how much to reimburse the claim. So this data here from the medical reports are extracted, they're enriched and normalized, and a summary is produced there as well. The demand letters and all other types of documentation, again, if a summary is needed, even just for the claims handler to know in 2 sentences what that document is about, we provide that. We can, let's say in this claims automation workflow for a few customers, we have a virtual assistant integrated. So the generative AI Q&A is possible. The way we use it is to be able to query, for example, some kind of authoritative body, like the New York medical guidelines, for example. It's 10,000 pages long. Sometimes a claims handler doesn't know what a pharmaceutical is used for. They do have medical expertise, but perhaps not like a real doctor. So they can query these smaller corpuses of documents and be able to ask, what is this pharmaceutical used for? And just to make sure that everything is compliant within the claims workflow. In the end, we can apply severity and urgency also on these documents to let people know, hey, the attorney's letter says that we need to respond within 10 days. Let's alert to a high urgency for this document, and any other business rules that could be applied to apply severity or urgency. And in the end, everything's exported to their system. So this is the way in claims that we're using it. In risk engineering. Risk engineering is part of the submissions process, the part of the underwriting process, I should say, where third-party risk reports are sent to the insurance carrier by the broker, describing, let's say, the state of the art of a location. And a risk engineer needs to know many different aspects of that location in terms of, for example, here we can see fire divisions, construction, maintenance procedures, contractor controls, and on all of these aspects, they need to apply a grading. So what Expert.ai does is to ingest those reports, again, many different templates, OCR, needed, and we're understanding those reports. We help to identify the risk elements, and each carrier has their own point of view of how they organize these and how they grade them. And we apply this grading, then we detect, occupancies. That means what kind of commercial activity is going on at the location. And we also apply there the standard taxonomies used in the industry to finally come up with a final score for the location and aggregate the information by the location for each, let's say, account. So if, for example, Coca-Cola has 3,000 locations, the account is just one, and we can provide also, let's say, an overview of that. Generative AI is used, let's say, also in this area to integrate information, because the risk reports are always written by a risk engineer that is not part of the actual company, it's somebody else. So they don't always, they're not always trusted, let's say, by risk engineers from other carriers. So they say, Denise, this tool is super helpful, but I also need to integrate other types of information. For example, on natural catastrophes, we need to understand, more about that and do a deep dive. So again, we use the RAG approach to help them query those type of corpuses. And finally, the third use case I wanted to present is more on risk and compliance. We are also in the finance and banking space, but these use cases here kind of work also for insurance and banking, where we have adverse news screening in order to, crawl and find critical news and detect it and generate any automatic alerts for banks or insurance companies. We have regulatory monitoring, which is kind of a horizon scanning, where we're continuously scanning to find new regulations that are coming out and keep our customers informed about them. And the regulatory compliance tool, which actually will take a regulation, it will read it, it will find the requirements that are contained within, and it's able to do a document comparison between your in-house policies, for example, on data privacy, and see if how and at what level you're compliant against these regulations. So, in conclusion, we have, again, a way for this last use case to help you build a business case based on, first the data metrics and working up the value chain, regulatory updates that have been captured. What is the coverage that we're now approaching? The KPIs, again, are, the accuracy, the efficiency, and the responsiveness of the users so that the operational efficiency is achieved. And again, the CEO doesn't have to stay up at night thinking about, am I protected? Is my risk awareness enough? How is my reputation doing today? So I think that pretty much covers, let's say, some of the three main use cases where we're using the generative AI in a hybrid approach.
Thank you, Denise. I'll just bring up our panel so we can head into questions. And Andrew, I need to find you. Okay, let's start with the first question, which was from Fernando. I'm a bit surprised that enterprises have a desire for open source solutions, because typically enterprises cite risk concerns. Can you explain low adoption of open source software? Could you illuminate why AI experience in this space, in this unique stance? That was a good question, Fernanda. By Andrea or Denise, would you like to take that one?
I'll take that one. So first of all, thanks, Fernando. Absolutely a very smart question. I would say that I just reported some of the feedback we received in our EMEA installations and projects. So you're absolutely right. When you have to scale to an enterprise solution, open source is not the right choice. But nevertheless, the feedback we are collecting from the customers is that there is less appetite versus software licenses, lock-in versus a specific software vendor, and more the desire to look for open and wide stacks. So from this point of view, probably there is also some misunderstanding of the concept of open sources, but at the end of the day, the general idea here is that as one of the key elements for scaling to enterprise solutions is the combination of different techniques, of different pieces of software. What companies are looking for, again, from personal experience in EMEA, is a way to combine different stacks, no lock-in, not fixed cost for license. So at the end of the day, more flexibility, more way to measure cost is something that the token measure way has helped us to do with the LLM. I don't know if I've answered the question, but more than happy to deep dive with Andrew and Shari on this topic.
Sharon, you're on mute.
We're going to Zoom next time. My next question is from Louise. Can I integrate across different platforms and with middleware? I'm thinking about our legacy stores like Lotus Notes. Good comments on that? That might be a good one for you, Louise. Sorry, Denise.
No, sure. No, absolutely. We, let's say Expert.ai being let's say, technology with a linguistic approach historically. We're used to being, let's say, a tool that sits within a larger process. So while we can provide end-to-end solutions like we just saw, we are also have, let's say, many years of experience in integrating with other systems. So I would say definitely yes.
Okay, thank you, Denise. The next question is from Annika. Where does the data get processed and stored from a data governance perspective? Who would like to take that one?
I'll take it that.
Okay.
Again, very nice questions. Historically, our technology has always been possible to install it on-prem, to install it on a cloud instance dedicated, or being used in a pure SaaS mode, which means that if your data are in Australia and you want them to be managed in Australia, we can install a full instance in Australia territory with the help again of Sharon and Andrew. So we don't need to pass data to EMEA. You don't need to pass data even out of your company if your desire is to maintain the full control. So in long story short, we don't mix up data coming from different customers. So we are not training our models or our stack, putting together the experiences or the projects that we are doing in the world. Every customer has his own instance, or if you think to government and public sector vertical, in that way it's very, very common that customers want their own air-gapped full on-prem solution, and we can manage that, no problem.
Thank you, Andrea. The next question is my personal favourite. Why use Expert.ai and not Copilot?
Oh, good one. I take also this one. I mean, Copilot is a fantastic tool when you work in a typical Microsoft environment, Microsoft Office environment, and is a tool that has been built for personal productivity. So I use Copilot by myself. Probably most of the people connected here use Copilot. But if you need to manage a medical claim process workflow with complex documents, different kind of documents, data sensitivity, for example, you cannot rely only on Copilot. So in brief, for specific use cases where you have complex documents, very mission critical processes, Copilot is not enough. Using a parallel is like if I use Excel for making the financial statements of a company. You can do that, but if you are a multinational company, you will never rely only on Microsoft Excel to make your financial statement. If you're able to do that, fantastic story, but ideally there are software, there are solutions much more productive for making financial statements and compile financial sheets. This is more or less the same story for copiloting and other AI techniques.
Thank you, Andrea. I think we've got time for one more question, and this one I think will go to Andrew. How can I see a demo of the Expert.ai platform and solutions?
Well, you can contact me, so Andrew at Raedan.ai.com, and I'm happy to give you a demo of the sort of back-end technology and also some of the other sort of use cases. I'll put it in the chat, my contact details.
Yeah, so it'll have to go in the Q&A.
Okay.
Yep, turned off. So, so is there any other comments, final comments from our panel and the speakers today before we start to wrap?
I just see another question about leaving AI unattended, and wouldn't you always want a pair of eyes looking at what it generated? And I would say absolutely yes. Of course, it depends on the use case. If you have simple use cases like simple low-value claims, we just can, let's say, enable that for straight through processing. But if you have a high value claim, it's also got a complexity to it. You may want, for example, a senior claims handler still looking at it we, let's say, keep the human in the loop very much. And that depends on the customer, how much they want to do that, with in what degree. So it depends on the use case, whether you trust it to leave it unattended or not.
Okay, and thanks, David, for that question. You were hidden to me. I've just found the rushing in now, of course. Well, we'll spend a couple more minutes and I'll wrap up very quickly. So this is from Andy. In the current environment, that is very aware of customer personal privacy, what new exposures exist within an AI solution that processes incoming customer data? Is there any problem with the right to be forgotten requirement? It's another good one.
Yeah.
Who would
So
like that?
we have a lot of experience also working with government agencies. So, data privacy is, number one. We also have, lately an insurance company who has, for the first time, we're signed a certificate saying that we will not be using Gen AI in one of our solutions. So it depends on the customer. It depends on the level of data privacy needed. And thankfully for Expert AI, we can work with small data sets. So a lot of incoming data doesn't need to be anonymized, or or the customer doesn't need to send us large sets of data with personal information, and we can still achieve tangible results with that. And we, again, since we have another technology, besides generative AI, we're able to still, again, produce valuable outcomes and work around.
Thanks, Denise. I can't leave one question unanswered. So Bill's question, with growing trend towards embedding ethical AI principles directly into enterprise AI governance, how do you handle the trade-offs between ethical compliance and algorithmic optimization, especially when ethical constraints might lead to a measurable drop? Are hybrid approaches seen to allow business to maintain both ethical and integrity and high model performance? The answer is yes, but I'll hand over to, I think, Andrea to round that out.
But it's a typical, I would say, trade-off we experience in our day-by-day activities. So company want to automate some mission critical, some specific processes that are based on sensible or critical data. So they are very reluctant to share information, to share examples, to share templates of those data to train the model. And the risk is absolutely what Bill is mentioning here. I mean, if you don't have data, if you don't have information, your AI model will never work. I could say that we have different techniques that we propose to our customers to be safe about these constraints. So first of all, we have tools that pseudonymize or anonymize data that can be installed 100% on-prem and can manage existing documents and existing text, removing any reference to sensible data. We have the possibility, as we said, to install all our stack or our technologies in a full on-prem environment. So no connection, no link with the rest, with the external networks or with the internet. And last but not least, as for what Denise said, we are not supportive of a full, let's say, technology that can reason and can decide by themselves. So at the end of the day, human in the loop will remain a fundamental part of our hybrid approach, which means that the ethical constraint usually emerge when the system can decide by itself what to do or what typical process start. From our point of view, this will never happen. I mean, you can extract data, you can classify information, you can generate a text, but at the end of the day, it will be always the human to validate and to consider the result of the AI technique good enough to be shared and to be used in the company. Anyway, very complex argument. So if, again,
yes.
even in this case, we want to deep dive, more than happy to organize something specific.
Okay, we've just tipped under the 5 o'clock, and as a good producer, we need to end for today. So